Hey, thank you so much for joining my series, my YouTube channel. Thank you. We're continuing our series on starting over. We've been looking at Jacob, done a couple of little inputs here, just a couple on the series. But today we're looking at, honestly, like one of my favorite chapters in the whole Bible, and it's in Genesis chapter 32. And that Jacob is starting over. So the background on this is he went and worked became his father-in-law for 20 years. He married his two daughters, Leah and Rachel, and got tricked in that, and then, kind of facilitated the flock development and all the goats and the sheep and all this stuff for Laban, his father-in-law. But he leaves after 20 years, and he takes a boatload of Laban's wealth. He takes the two daughters that he's married. He takes a couple of concubines. He takes a whole boatload of wealth with him, and he's leaving. He's finishing the season with Laban, concluding it and starting over. But he's also scared out of his mind because he's planning to meet Esau, his twin brother. Last time he saw Esau, Esau threatened to kill him. And so he's starting over. And in Genesis 32, you have this pivot point, and it's a place called Mahanaim, two camps. And this is where Jacob comes, and he sends over all of his wealth, all of his family. He sends them across the Jordan River, and Jacob stays on the other side. And he basically wrestles all night with the angel of God. Some people say he wrestles with God. And in this starting over, it's a do-over season. It's a brand new beginning for Jacob. And he's also scared. He's scared about what he's going to see, who he's going to see, how he's going to be received, scared for all the things that he has and his possessions. And in this do-over, in this starting over, he has this wrestling match with God. And then last week we talked about we've got to integrate God when we start over. And God integrates and is integrated in this start over time, this experience with Jacob. He wrestles with God. And in that wrestling match, the outcome of it is his name is changed from Jacob, meaning deceiver, to the name Israel, meaning one who wrestles with God. And I like this idea of wrestling with God because I think it fosters this idea of connection, of intimacy, of honesty, and of going back and forth. And I think this is an important part of what it means to start over. When we integrate God into our start overs, our do-overs, there should be some tug and push and wrestle and hey, I'm frustrated with this, and some honesty, and this didn't go well, this was good, and some rub back and forth and honest dialogue. I think that's super essential when we start over. We can't just take Pollyanna, everything's fine, the sky's good. No, there have been some difficulties, some hardships, and we have to be honest. I'm afraid about what the future could look like. I'm discouraged about what happened, the outcomes in the past. This whole interaction with Laban, it didn't go well. It kind of hit the fan, and Laban was mad, all this stuff. And we have these honest wrestling dialogue conversations with God, but we also need to be willing for God to change us, to change our name, change our identity, change our outlook, our mindset. And if you think about it as well, this final outcome in starting over, Jacob walked away with a limp. The way he walked for the rest of his life was changed. And I think sometimes we have to really appreciate that when we start over, God wants to change us and not let us walk the same way that we did in the past. That there's change and integrating God into our life. Israel, the name Israel integrates God into Jacob's identity. And so let's be conscientious that starting over means we're going to do things differently, and we let God change our outlook, our identity, who we are. So thanks so much for watching. I love to get your feedback. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Comments are awesome. I'd love to have you subscribe. Share this with your friends. And here's your final joke. What do you call a clock on a belt? You call it a waistline. Actually, you're like, what is it? That doesn't make any sense. I forgot. So here's how it goes. A waste of time. A waste of time. A clock on a belt is a waste of time. I know. So watch next week. It can only get better. Thanks again.